Okay guys, so today we are going to talk about two-phase method. I've already told you we have already done big M method and simplex method. Here two-phase method is another method where you have a constraint which is either greater than or equal to or just equal to. So you have an artificial variable coming in here, and so this when the artificial variable comes, you use either big M or two-phase method. Here if you take these to this side, z minus cj, it will be minus. So maximum there is a minus value. So this is a non-optimum problem and it is feasible, but there is a greater than or equal to. So now we are going to standardize. Two-phase method. There are two phases. Okay, so phase 1. Okay, this is a bit shaky today. This is a phase 1. Phase 1 is always going to be minimum, say, let's say W. Okay, you can have anything like Z star also. To avoid confusion, I'm having W. There is only one artificial, so this will be always minimum of sum of artificials. Okay, so this is artificial variable. I'm leaving space so that I can calculate. So here less than or equal to, so I'm adding slack. Here is also less than or equal to, so my second slack. This is greater than or equal to, so I'm subtracting surplus and adding my artificial. No man, the rest I'm not bothered actually. Even S3 can be added here, but no, not right now. In R1 I have written this equation 60 minus all these I have written here, and W, this part I have brought it to the right hand side, I have brought it to the left hand side. So I have this equation here and my other equations. Now basis table, I have like W, S1, S2, R1. You can even write R1 as R because there's only one. So there's no confusion here. So you can put it as R itself if you want. Now I am preparing the table here. Basic table 0, basis. I am writing, this will become 1, 1, 0, 0, minus 1, 0 and equal to 60. The equation 1. The second equation is this 0, 30. Third one is 1, 1, 0, 0, minus 1, 1 and it will become 60. Okay. So the most positive will enter because it's a minimum phase. Phase 1 has always got a minimum value only. So therefore the most positive will enter. You can like choose anything you want. For lesser confusion, we choose the first one. This is also 1, this is also 1. So no big difference to me. So I am choosing this one because it's the first one. That's it. So I have chosen this. Now I'm going to find ratio. This will be 40 by 1. It will be 40. This will be dash and this will be 60. So the minimum value will become S1. Right, so now I have my entering variable and leaving variable and my pivot element, pivot column, pivot row values. That's it. So now I have table 1. Same basis W, X, Y, S1, S2, S3, R1, solution and ratio. Here this will become X, this will become S2 and this will become. Okay, so I have my new equation X. So this is my new equation. Old equation by pivot element. Old equation is this pivot row elements divided by pivot element. This is the one. So I have my divided by 1. Each value divided by 1 is the same. So I have my new equation. Now I'm going to do the other 3 equations. Okay, so for W, I have the equation, old equation minus corresponding pivot element into new equation. Old equation is this row is the old equation, pivot column element is 1 and corresponding new equation is this. So we are going to take that. So old equation is 1 1 okay, 0 0 minus 1 0 60 minus 1 into new equation 1 0 1 0 0 0 40. Okay, so I'm just going to 1 1 0 0 minus 1 0 60 1 into 1, this is minus 1 0 minus 1 0 0 0 minus 40 0 1 minus 1 0 minus 1 0 20. So this is my W. So I'm going to do the other two equations also and then we'll meet. Okay, so I've finished my calculation. I have rewritten the table because that is very inconvenient. So here I have my X. I'm going to write my W. Then I'm going to write my S2. And my artificial variable. Now again I'm going to check my entering variable. There is a positive value. So again the most positive will enter and this is the most positive. So this is going to enter. Now again I'm going to find the ratio. This is dash 30 and this is 20. So this is the minimum positive ratio. So this fellow is leaving. Minimum positive ratio. So this is leaving. So I have my pivot column, row and pivot element. So again I'm going to do my calculation for table 2. Right, so again this is divided by 1 because pivot element is 1. So this becomes 0, 1, minus 1, 0, minus 1, 1 and 20. It will be the same because when you divide it by each and every one divided by every value, you get the same value. So now I'm going to calculate the other 3 rows and meet you back here. Okay. Okay, so I've done the calculation. If you're wondering why X is the same, because the pivot column element is 0. So minus 0 of this is going to be nothing. So the row remains the same. So now I'm going to write my values. And this will be same. 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 4, 0. And this will be 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, minus 1 and 10. Okay, so now if you noticed the the objective function here, it's all 0 except for the artificial variable minus 1. The rest all are 0, even the solution is 0. And so no entering because minimization minus 1 cannot enter. Therefore, this is your final table for phase 1. So your problem is for phase 1 is done. So now we are moving on to the phase 2. Okay, so phase 2, we are going to move using this final table itself except for the objective function. For this objective function, here we used an objective function called minimum of artificial variable. Here in this phase 2, we are going to use the original objective function max z equal to 2x plus 5y. So you're going to use that. Okay. So I'm going to leave some space for calculation for my phase 2. So I am starting my phase 2. So I'm leaving some space for calculation. I am going to start my table 1 or table 0, whichever. Okay. This is phase 2 table 0. Basis z, x, y all are similar, except for there is no artificial variable in this. It has been minimized and removed. And here we have x, s2 and y. Okay, so I'm going to retain all. So I'm going to retain all the original values of x and y from the previous table itself, phase 1 final table. There is no artificial variable here. Okay, so yeah, right. So these are all the same. Now we are going to see the objective function, which is to so this is my objective function. We have an equation for x and an equation for y. So I'm going to just substitute in these two equations from the final table. Okay. So here the equation is x plus s1 equal to 40. Okay. That is what it says. So this will become 40 minus s1. And then for y it is y minus s1 plus s3 equal to 20. So this will become 5 into 20 minus s3 plus s1. So the equations here are x plus s1 equal to 40 and y minus s1 plus s3 equal to 20. So I have just rewritten it as equal to for x and y. So now my calculation will be, this is 80 minus 2s1 plus 100 minus 5s3 plus 5s1. So 180 minus 5s3 plus 3s1. So z minus 3s1 plus 5s3 equal to 180. This I'm going to substitute here 0, 0, minus. Sorry guys, this is like also minus. So what happens is this becomes plus and this also becomes like when it goes to the other side it becomes plus. So you have like this plus plus. Okay, so you have this equation changes. Sorry about this. So you have like 180 plus 5s3 plus 3s1. Okay, so this will become z minus 5s3 minus 3s1 equal to 180. Okay, so this is like my final table is done. This is my phase 2 first table. So here this is a maximization problem. So the most negative will enter. So this is the most negative and this one is going to enter. So he is going to enter. So because of this there will be like dash and here this is a minus, so dash, this will be the only one. So x2 is leaving. Okay. So the rest of the calculation I'll finish for table 0. Then we'll meet up. Okay, so my calculation is done. I'm writing it up. Okay, so my table 1 is ready. But if you notice, if I'm going to go to the next table for Z, this is a maximization objective. Max, you have to have negatives. There are no negatives. Therefore, my table, my problem is done. So my objective of optimization has been reached. Problem is feasible and optimum. Therefore, my solution here is max Z equal to 30, X is 40, Y is 30. This is my solution. Problem solved. That's it. So this is your homework problem. I'll send a pic also of this. I have a maximization problem and a minimization problem. I had only one artificial variable. Here you will have two artificial variables. Okay. So your phase 1 will be a minimum R1 plus R2. Okay. So you have to substitute for two equations. Now here there's an equal. So you will be asked me why we should have an artificial variable. If there is an equal, if they're greater or equal to, you have to have a surplus and an artificial. So for a greater or equal to, you have a surplus and an artificial. Subtract surplus, add artificial. For an equal to, there is only adding artificial. There is no surplus involved here. Okay. So you have to just put plus R1 or R2 or whatever you want to put. So here there's R1 matlab, you have to put your R2 here. So here you have an equal. This is an extra question. So work out these two questions and send me the answer. Okay, now we'll see duality. This is a problem where we are going to find the dual for this problem. This is called a primal problem. Okay. A primal and a dual are mirror images. So if you find answer for one of them, you can find the answer for the other also. It is like that. So it's like a mirror image problem. Okay, so this is a primal problem. We are going to now find the dual. Okay. Now to consider a dual, first thing is this is a maximization problem. So your dual problem is going to be a minimization problem. That is the first point. Second point, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 constraints. That means you have y1, y2, y3 and y4 variables, decision variables in dual. Okay. The second one. Third one, you have x1, x2, x3 variables here. Therefore, you have 3 constraints. x1, x2, 1, 2, 3 constraints. So, you will have 3 constraints in your dual. So, this is how we start. First of all, this is a maximization problem. So, my dual will be a minimization problem. Okay. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 constraints. So therefore I have y1, y2, y3 and y4, 4 decision variables. Here first constraint, the solution is 60. So it will become 60 y1. Second is 20. This will become 20 y2. Third is 45 y3, and fourth is 15, so 15 y4. So this is my objective function, subject to. Okay, so my first constraint will be wherever x1 is there, that will be my first constraint. X1 is my first constraint. So I have like 1x1 plus 2x1. So it will become like y1 plus 2 y2. The solution will be for x1, this is 6, so this will be 6. Since this is a minimization, this will always be greater than or equal to 6. Okay. Second one, x2, 2x2, 4x2. So 2 y1. Right, so to read 2y1, there is no x2 here, so we leave it. You have an x2 here, so it will be 4y3. 3. There is no x2 here, therefore this is greater than or equal to 7. The third one, 7y1 plus 3y2 plus 5y3 plus y4 greater than or equal to 8. And since this is all less than or equal to, here y1, y2, y3, y4 be greater than or equal to 0. Simple. Non-negativity constraint is maintained. Now you may ask me why we are going to consider this as less than or equal to only. If this is less than or equal to, doesn't matter, this will always be greater than or equal to only if it is a minimum problem. If dual is minimum, it's going to be greater than or equal to. But this will change. We are going to consider second problem. Here, if you notice, this is a maximization problem, but this is a greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Now, for a max problem, you have to have both as less than or equal to only. If you're going to convert to dual, it is easier that way. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to convert this into less than or equal to by multiplying it with minus 1. So this becomes minus x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to minus 5. So I'm just converting it and making it also less than or equal to. So this way I have my dual now. Min w minus 5y1 plus 7y2 minus 5, 7 subject to y1 plus 3y2 greater than or equal to minus 6. The second is minus 2y1 plus 4y2 greater than or equal to 7, and your y1, y2 is greater than or equal to 0. Because this has become less than or equal to, so no problem. So this is how you convert. So for a less than or equal to problem, no problem, issues. But if we have a greater than or equal to symbol, you make it into less than or equal to by multiplying by minus 1, both sides, and then you convert it. So this is your second problem. I'll give you a third problem where you have an equality. Okay, so this is my third problem. If you notice, I have a maximization problem. I have three decision variables x1, x2, x3, and less than or equal to is 1. There is an equal to here. So what happens is this is going to create trouble later on. So we are now going to see how to find the dual for this. So this becomes as usual minimum 20y1 plus 40y2. Okay, so this is okay, fine. Now subject to, you have like 6y1 plus 2y2 greater than or equal to 5. Then you have minus 2y1 plus 4y2 greater than or equal to 2. 2y1 plus y2 greater than or equal to 4. So these are not the issues here. Now you have y1. For the difference between the previous ones and this, here you have an equality. For the first equation, that is y1 equation. So y1 is called unrestricted. That means this is y1 equation was an equality. Okay. And y2 is greater than or equal to 0. So this is how you convert a equal to constraint. So here you have a dual. Finished. Okay, my next problem is this. I've complicated it a little bit more. So maximization, yes. Subject to, you have 1, 2, 3 constraints. There's an equality greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Greater than or equal to, we convert it by multiplying by minus 1. Okay, and you have an unrestricted variable here, x3 is unrestricted. So now I'm going to find dual for this. Okay, the dual for this is again as usual min. Okay, so I'll have like 15 y1 minus 18 y2 plus 25 y3. Okay, 1 2 3 constraints finished. Now subject to constraints I have minus y1 minus 6 y2 plus 10. Okay, so plus 10 y3, which is greater than or equal to 2. Second one is y1 plus 5 y2, minus 5 y2 minus 8 y3 is greater than or equal to 1. Then you have the third one, y1 plus 7 y2 plus 2 y3, which is equal to 13. That is because x3 is unrestricted. X3 is unrestricted, so this equation for x3 becomes equal. Okay, that is the difference I am bringing in. Third one will be minus y1, fourth a constraint, minus 2y2 plus 4y3 greater than or equal to minus 5. Okay, so here if you notice, this is my and as usual the first equation is an equality, therefore y1, the first equation is unrestricted, and then y2 comma y3 are greater than or equal to 0. So these doesn't change. That's it. So this is your dual. For this primal, this is your dual.